Welcome back to CrawlCast. This is CrawlCast East, and today we have a special guest all the way from Arizona, Mr. Armando Verdugo, also known as the brown Artec guy. What's going on, man?
Oh, not much. Just finishing the day, just trying to settle into Jeep Beach prep and, hit the next show.
Yeah. So what goes into your summer prep? Because, first you have EJS and then you have Jeep Beach. So, that's a lot of miles.
Yeah, it really depends on the year. It gets worse by the year. Luckily, this year, there wasn't much that we really did at EJS. We didn't do any vendor show or anything like that. So it was pretty easy. I went up for a few days and just kind of wheeled and hung out with a couple people. Although I used the term wheeled, but I did one trail and broke the Jeep. And then spent another 3 days trying to get home with a broke Jeep. But oh well, we can get into that story later.
Wait, you drove the Jeep out there and you didn't trailer it?
No, my Jeep drives everywhere. Well, at this point, my Jeep drives everywhere. It doesn't get trailered anywhere. No, it's ever since we got the red JL, I have this little trailer that I haul around the country, and we use the Jeep, wheel it, put the trailer on it, go to the next show, wash it. So the running joke is, oh, you're always washing your Jeep, but the problem is my Jeep's always the show vehicle, so it always has to be clean.
Yeah. So let's talk about EGS really quick. On the first Sunday of every EGS, you do something special. Hold on, let's back up because not many people know this. You are the founder of Hero Offroad.
Yes.
Okay, now explain to everyone that doesn't know what Hero Offroad is. Tell them what that is.
So Hero Offroad is a nonprofit organization that gives back to veterans and active duty military members. So we do a few events per year trying to give back and also to raise funds for some of our programs. And one thing we do at EJS is a Patriot Crawl every year. We've been doing that for, I believe, 5 years now. And then Darb and Drew do the Crawl America, and all the proceeds of that go to Hero Offroad. And we're working on a few others to get the programs going. So the one thing I like about the Patriot Crawl is a free event for all veterans and active duty service members. So if you're tied to the military, retired, whatever, we set up the sign up page, and you get to come free. You get a T-shirt. You get to ride for free. We get wrecked. We have raffles. It's just a great day. A lot of camaraderie, and it's really one of those days that makes me happy because all these guys come out. They don't know each other, and they're all like best buds by the end of the day. They're laughing. They're joking. They're giving the jokes. The Army guys giving the crayon eater jokes to the Marine guys. Marine guys are giving the sissy jokes to the Air Force, and the Air Force are going to the Coast Guard people, and the Navy go like, where's my ride? So the Uber jokes happen. So definitely fun to have that and see these guys just kind of see their place and have that camaraderie. So. When
it really is special because I've seen it. I've been there and I've seen it happen. People can actually go check out our YouTube page and search for Patriot Crawl and check out a couple of videos that we did for you guys. But yeah, you can see it in these guys' eyes. Like from the moment they get there, they realize I'm in my element, and then by the time they leave,
and it's for them. There's no outsiders other than some industry people that we let come on as VIPs, but everyone there that participates in the event in their Jeeps, in riding along or whatever. We want them all to be military in the family. And that's kind of the culture that we've created with that. And it's funny now in I believe it's a 5th year now. We have the same people core group coming year after year. So we have our veteran, what we call our veterans, come out every year, and then we have a bunch of news that show up every year, and then they come up and they do it repeatedly, just depending on when they can get out. But it's actually pretty great event to see it. I'm a little upset that we couldn't do it last year because of COVID, and this year was a little lighter than we would have expected. But also EJS was way lighter than we expected also. So in terms of traffic in town and people out there, it's just without the vendor show, it just kind of didn't do what it usually does.
That was going to be my next question was, how was EJS this year without the vendor show? And I guess you just answered that.
It was a little lighter. The Dixie, we went out to Dixie. So I went up and Jeremy Clanton and I going with Tim Cromer from BFG and Charlene Bauer from Ladies Off-Road Network. We all caravaned up there, and then Jeremy and I kind of hung out most of the week. With my issues, Jeremy became my chauffeur. We cruised around in the big blue rock crawler Gladiator most of the week. So him and I took a couple cruises out there, and the Dixie did a pretty good job with the traffic, and there was decent people out there, but just in town, you know when you go to a restaurant and EJS week, you go at 6-7 o'clock at night and you're waiting for an hour everywhere. Mm-hmm. And there was times we went to dinner and we got sat right down, which was pretty cool for us to actually go out someplace and eat, but it just was not the same traffic and crowds that you typically get from EJS.
That's pretty wild, because you would think that everyone would rush to this year's EJS because of last year. But I guess during the months leading up to this year's EJS, there was a lot of questions still whether it was going to happen or not. So I'm wondering if a lot of people just backed out because of that.
Yeah, I would assume so. I mean, you get EJS is canceled by the Red Rock, but there's still trails there, and they still did trails, but the vendor show was the only thing that was really canceled by Red Rock. Everything else kind of went on as planned. You didn't get Saturday night dinner. The raffle was a little odd, I guess. There wasn't much to that, but I mean, we're doing the best we can to get through most of this and try to keep these shows going. And a lot of people have stepped up and got some good shows, good traffic. Just a little light, but I was okay with it this year.
Yeah. So now that we got EJS out of the way and kind of segue back into Jeep Beach and your prep for all this travel.
So typically, I can leave directly from Easter Jeep Safari to Jeep Beach, or I come home for a week, do whatever. So this year, my prep was to convert the suspension over to the new rock crawler 3-link long arm front and rear, and redo all the armor on my JL, get it all ready and cleaned and pretty for a Jeep Beach type event. And my JL is still at the dealership in Flagstaff due to some of the issues I had coming back from Moab.
Okay, so tell me about that, because I haven't heard about this.
Well, I have a development unit of a PSC kit on my JL, and where they place the pump, it's really low, and my upper control arm mount on the passenger side hits the pulley, breaks the mount, eats a belt, and you have to replace it all. So it's happened a few times, and I knew this going into EJS, and it was one of the reasons I was okay with not going to EJS. But there was some people that asked me to be up there, so I decided I was going to go up and take care of my obligations. And the one thing I was scared of the whole week of breaking broke. And when it broke, it led to a little more issues I lost the belt. The belt apparently flicked out and broke my front cover. So it started out as a little leak, and I drove from Moab to Flagstaff and filled the Jeep up probably 12 quarts of oil to get the Flagstaff.
Wow.
My Jeep's a mess. The whole underside is just oil everywhere. Coming up the hill to Flagstaff, I was losing power. So I pulled over, let it cool down a little bit, put 3 quarts of oil, got up and over the hill, coasted into Flagstaff, and dropped at the dealer and got a rental and came home.
And the year before that, it was a knuckle, wasn't it?
No, at Moab, I broke the coupler for the FAD.
Oh,
is what I broke. We fixed it, but I was still in 3-wheel drive. Drove home. I did my axle swap. I did the Curry Fab 9s with our swap kit. The kit's beautiful. It works flawlessly, and it's been great. But now that I'm building it, I'm coming up with all these new things that are happening as you build. You know, it's the typical build issues of a new vehicle when you're trying to get to the place I'm trying to get it to.
Yeah, I know all about that right now.
You're very familiar with this right now.
Yeah, very.
So my plan was eliminate that upper link on the passenger side when I got back from EJS, put the rock crawler 3 link on it. We're putting that 3rd link on the driver's side. There's no way I can get into that and break that ever again. So I'd be perfect. So that was my cure, my fix. I was supposed to have the Jeep in the shop on Monday, tear it all apart, get it all revamped up. Everything was supposed to be at powder, and then reassembled back Thursday, Friday next week, and then on the road next Saturday, Sunday. My little trailer in tow with all my stuff and heading across the country. So right now, waiting on parts. Parts aren't going to be here for another week, they say. So I don't have a JL to go to Jeep Beach, so I'm going to go to Utah, grab our Gladiator, truck and a trailer, and I'm going to trailer that across to Jeep Beach, set up my show like I normally do, and then drive it back home. So it just adds a little extra layer and some extra stuff for the planning of this year, but show goes on.
So you're going solo, no Will?
No, I do Jeep Beach typically solo. I think the first year when Will drove the big trailer out there, he came out. We have R&D stuff that's pending that he really needs to be on top of. So he's going to stay back and do a lot of that, get that going. Too many things that are happening on his plate to get him out right now.
I had no idea he was that instrumental in Artec's success. I'm blown away.
He's our R&D guy. I mean, we got to design. Someone has to design parts, which Evans and Nate do. And then once it gets bent and goes to production, and Sherman and his crew get that bent and ready to go, then Will puts it on, tests it. And it's not just fitting, it's the testing. It's him taking it up and trying to destroy it, basically. We're really good at destroying stuff to make sure it works.
And I think that's the key, right?
Oh yeah. Look at our YouTube channel of how we started with this orb. And it had a quart crate in it, and we threw it down a canyon cliff. I'm like, who does that? We do.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it takes these days, I think, to actually prove that you have that product that's going to withstand, the torture that these things go through. Because there's companies that don't test, and then people buy them because they're a budget thing. And then they end up spending more money because now they have to buy 2 kits because they cheaped out the first time.
Exactly. Yeah. You get the budget and then redo it all, and you're double. And if you're doing the labor your own by yourself, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're paying for labor and you're paying for double labor, that's costing you twice as much.
Right. And it's not exactly like that labor is under some warranty. It's just the parts that are under the warranty. And sometimes those parts aren't even under warranty.
Yeah, you just get frustrated. You're like, no, I'm not doing that again. Just go get the right one and put the right piece on there. And we try to make sure that what we're providing is the right piece for the job, or are the right pieces to go together to make something happen.
So what we're talking about here, everyone that's listening and watching, is the way Artec does their R&D. Talk a little bit more about what Artec does and what you are for those that don't know.
So Artec Industries, we're a manufacturer of Jeep components. Our kind of claim to fame is the axle truss and axle armor kit that started back in 2009, 2010, somewhere in that time frame. Pre me working for the company, I had a JK at the time, and my Jeep was basically the demo vehicle, the show vehicle for Artec. And I worked for a different company who shall remain nameless. And I would go out to events and bring my Jeep, and it had the trusses and everything on it. And it'd sit up and be the display vehicle. And then progression went through, and I was done with the other company. And I went to Artie and was like, all right, I need a job now. Let's make this happen. So 7 years ago now, that's been happening. So we continue to manufacture products, and one of our biggest sellers right now is our belly pan. And that belly pan is probably had, just on the JK version, probably had 20 iterations. We had a stack of different belly pans at the old shop before we moved from Arizona to Utah. And those all went into the scrap bin when we moved up to Utah. And originally it was steel. And the idea was a big, heavy steel thing. And then these pieces just weighed so much. So we started going to the aluminum. And now I would safe to say that our belly pan is the number one on the market. And it is the go-to for a lot of people.
I think so. It is the standard. I have it, and I've used it quite a bit in South Dakota. It takes a big tire to get through a lot of stuff out there. When you don't have the big tire, you're going to just scrape the shit out of your belly.
Push.
Yep. And it slides. And one of the things with me always having the little Jeep, I had the red JL on 35s, and then I went to 37s. And then I used to chase around all the big boys with 40s and 39s and 38s. And I would just find a line that I can get onto, put my belly up to it, and just launch through it. And that's how we test. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I love it. In fact, I need new bolts. I need to talk to you after we're done here. I didn't put any anti-seize on mine.
Oh.
Yeah. So we had to weld on some nuts and get them out that way.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take care of that. No problem.
Yeah, that was just a bonehead move on my part.
It happens.
Yeah. So what a lot of people don't know is we grew up like 15 minutes from each other in Southern California. And
yes.
And your wife went to the same high school that I did 4 years apart, 4 years apart.
Yeah, the Pioneer High School.
Yeah. That's a trip. And then we meet at EGS, and we're like, I forget exactly how we came up on that topic, but it was just like, you ever go to Tommy's Burgers?
Everything. It's all the local hood, all the Tommy's Burgers, cruising Whittier, going to the local hot spots, and just growing up there. You're not really in LA, but you're in that San Gabriel Valley area, and you all kind of have like the same stuff you go to. You hit the hot spots.
Yeah. It's the In-N-Out on Whittier Boulevard, the Quiet Canyon Club over in Montebello.
The Quiet, yeah. And I lived across the street, across the freeway from there.
Did you really?
It was easy. Like, where the California driving school is across Garfield.
Yeah.
Right up that hill.
Oh my God. So that high school, I forget the name of that high school that's right there.
Sure?
Yeah. So I went to my first car show at that high school, and we had to, set up at night for the night before. And it was like one of the coldest nights that was on record during that, it was like 90, I think that was like 1997 or something like that. Long time ago.
So it was like 40 degrees.
Yeah, pretty much. But we were not prepared.
Come on.
I mean, it does get cold. I mean, you get that ocean front coming in sometimes, and it just chills you really good.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually graduated from Sure High School.
Really?
Yeah.
So how did you go from being that far away? Because I mean, even back then, even though it was 20 minutes apart and it doesn't sound like a lot, it was still kind of far.
Well, that's kind of what you did. We got up and into Montebello. We got on the Whittier Boulevard at right by Montebello High School is where you kind of jumped on a Whittier Boulevard, and we cruised either way depending on where you're going. You cruise east and you go out into the Whittier Pico side, and you go west and you end up in East LA and out to parts on that side of town. So it just depended what happened, and it was where the life was at.
It really was.
All the lowered cars, all the mini trucks, all the lifted 4x. Back then, I had a '85 Toyota short bed pickup on 36s.
Yeah, I remember seeing CJs, lifted CJs on 35s back then, and thinking to myself, "Damn, that thing's like big." And back then, the 35 was a big tire.
Yeah. I went to 36s. I went to the guy at the tire store and I'm like, I want 36s. And the guy's like, you're crazy. Then he had to mount them, had to figure out how to mount them. And it was funny. And then even back then, it was Dick CPEC store was in Whittier.
Yeah, there was one in Norwalk too.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of Moon Eyes. Moon Eyes was on Norwalk Boulevard for all the hot rods. Yep.
And then the Dick CPEC store was on Whittier Boulevard. It turned into a tire store. They did lowered cars and stuff after. And it was
Brian's Auto or something like that.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah.
Man, those were the days. I mean, you can cruise up and down the boulevard for as long as you wanted until you got pulled over, and then you got a warning that you had to go home. If they saw you again, they would tell it. Yeah. And if you had a big enough truck, you just get away. You just dodge traffic and go over curbs and go home. Yeah. Or you would just pull over. Right. Or you would just pull over into the In-N-Out parking lot and let the chicks drive by, and you just stand on the curb and flag down the chicks.
Yeah. Whatever works.
Yeah. Those were the good old days. I got into so much trouble back then.
Yeah. I'm gonna be quiet then.
All I gotta say is, thank God there wasn't actual cell phone cameras, or there wasn't Big Brother cameras everywhere, because things would be a lot different right now for both of us, probably.
I could still be in jail.
I grew up with a lot of guys out there that didn't really care if they went to jail or not. So I did. I knew my dad would kick my ass worse than anyone in the jail would do. So
and then your mom would come in after and kick your ass on top of it.
Yeah, with the chancla. She'd take the left foot off and throw it with her right hand.
Exactly. Yeah. I never did that bad, but it's just funny, like just the days. I remember getting pulled out of my truck and thrown on the hood of a car and checking my truck for drugs and weapons and whatever. And like, I worked at Smart and Final. I worked 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. if I could, 5 days a week, 6 days a week if they asked me to, and made a crap ton of overtime and made a ton of money and put all my money in my truck and then going out and gas.
Yeah. So, well, gas back then was what, like 98 cents a gallon?
It was probably 75 cents. Wait, I made you myself.
Yeah, you got like 5 years on me.
I think it might be more than that.
More than that? I'll go with it. I think you're right. But yeah, I remember either having to always look out for the cops or the cholos. The cholos would pull you out of the car and literally shake you down or just take your car. There was a few times that it's actually happened to us at gunpoint on Whittier Boulevard at the Food for Less that was out there.
Really?
Yeah. One of my friends was just whistling at some chick out of a payphone, and we all look at her, and we're not paying attention what's in front of us, and a car just pulls out in front of him, and he stops, and two cholos with guns comes out and gets us out of this car, and they took off in it.
I luckily never had that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The funniest story that I have though is getting pulled over, and the cop says, "Do you have any guns or dope on you?" I'm like, "No, of course not." Like, "Do you mind if I search your truck?" I was like, "No." Gets me out of the truck and sits me on the curb. Finds a joint. He's like, "What's this?" I'm like, "It's a joint." He's like, I thought you said you didn't have any dope." I'm like, "That's not dope. That's just a joint." And he just starts laughing, throws it on the ground, steps on it. He's like, "Get in your truck." He's like, "Get in your truck and go home."
Yeah. They're looking for distribution. They weren't never looking for anything but people that were going to be out there being rowdy. Us kids, a few beers in the car, they dump them out and go, "Okay, go on your way. Go back to the store you bought it from and buy some more."
Pretty much.
And that's what it was. And we had our spots back then. We had the captain's man in Montebello that was our spot to go get underage liquor. There was just a dairy in Montebello, and an older Asian couple in there. You walk in and she put it in a bag and she hand it to you secretly and take your money and on with your way.
Yeah, we had a dairy like that too, but I cashed my checks there, and so they knew how old I was. Because I'm cashing my check, but I would still grab a 40 ounce of Mickey's or whatever it was, and just act cool and nonchalant, and they wouldn't care. They would just take it out of whatever they're deposit or cashing for my check.
Yeah, they didn't care.
Well, they got paid.
They were getting paid. It's all they were. They were about selling merchandise, not really whatever you're going to do. They don't care.
Yeah. I remember that I would buy a pair of those slip-on, they call them Chinese shoes. I don't know if you remember those. I would buy a pair of those once every summer. And those were like kind of just like my, neighborhood shoes. Like I would just, because I had friends in the neighborhood, and instead of just driving my truck there, I would just walk. So I would just slip those on and walk down the street and hang out with the guys for a little bit. And if I needed to kick them off, I would kick them off. They were like $2.
Yeah, those karate shoes with the red bottoms, or the orange red bottoms.
Yep, the best.
Oh yeah, the good old days.
Yeah, I think everyone that's listening right now is like, how old are these guys?
Well, I'm pushing 60, so we're good.
Oh, you are pushing 60?
No, I'll be there soon, but I'll be 53 this year.
I'll be there eventually.
I'll be 60 before I'm 50 again.
Yeah, that's true. Man, so what's going on after Jeep Beats then?
Come back, hopefully get my JL done, and then we're doing Mob Moab end of May. Are you coming out for that?
As of now, I am. To tell you the truth, I'm having trouble finding a condo. Yeah,
that was our biggest problem, was finding a place. So we found a place. So rent an RV and just go park at our place. There's a big space back there.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is it in that same cul-de-sac that Northridge used to get a house at?
I don't know where they had a house at. It's back further out Spanish Valley towards area BFE. There's a big blue metal house out there, and it's called Big Blue.
Okay.
That's where we're at. So we're not staying in town. Last year we stayed at those condos down the street from the hospital, and those are nice, but none of those are available, or they want $900 a night.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at too. It's crazy. I mean, I guess they're trying to recover from COVID last year or something.
Well, it was crazy. It was one of the reasons why we didn't do officially Artec at EJS this year. Is our condo went from what we go $3,800 for 9-10 days every year. It was about $6,500 this year.
That's insane.
So I hung out with a buddy of mine and stayed in his RV. Will and Nate and Jose drove out for a couple of days, and they just got in a hotel, and we ended up probably only $1,000 in hotels as opposed to $6,000 for a condo for the week. And we just kind of split it up and we were all there throughout the week. So I think we got our coverage that we needed, just not all together.
Yeah. I might just get a hotel room. Even those are still $300 a night.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's up there.
It's pretty crazy, but we'll talk after.
Yeah. So one thing that I want to ask you, because you were there, the side-by-side issue that is going on in Moab. Can you talk about that? Did you get any insight?
There wasn't very many side-by-sides. Usually Easter Jeep Week, you don't really get the side-by-side traffic. But last year when we were there for in May for Moab, they were everywhere and obnoxiously everywhere. We're at Milt's, and Milt's, that street coming around that corner is 25 miles per hour. And they leave that stop sign and make that right turn or come across the stop sign and they're full brat, and you're sitting there eating and like, what the heck is that? The race happening down the street and it's just a side-by-side just on it. So it's annoying.
I think it wouldn't be so bad if A, there was some sort of decorum, and B, they did something to muffle that obnoxious fucking sound. Yeah. I feel like my gardener's here to mow my lawn, blow my weeds out. Is your gardener Mexican?
I'm the gardener, so.
Wait a minute. Don't you have nothing but rock?
Yeah, basically, yeah. But you got to kill the weeds in the rock, so and then you got to blow them out. So I mean, my lawnmower is a wagon with a 25-gallon sprayer on it that sprays weeds.
Oh, that's funny.
But no, I'm the gardener, the landscaper, the carpenter, the whatever it takes, the chef,
the everything, Mr. Mom.
Yeah. I work from home, so right before this meeting, I got dinner ready and everything sitting waiting for my wife to get home and us to have dinner.
How far out of the city do you live?
I am 55 miles from Phoenix. The closest real city to me is Queen Creek, and it's about 25 minutes to the Queen Creek Marketplace, which is where any shopping would be. So we get grocery stores kind of closer. There's a Walmart 10 minutes away. There's a Fry's grocery store about 15 minutes away, 2 directions. But for the most part, I live in the middle of nowhere. My development backs up to the reservation, and there's nothing out here. It's nice.
So there's a reservation?
Yeah, there's an Indian reservation behind me.
Do they sell fireworks?
No, they don't. And
what the fuck?
And it's just the end of the land. There's not even anything there. It's just like a hill. So it's just stuff. But no, I got to go to New Mexico for any New Mexico or Las Vegas for any good fireworks.
Hey, wait a minute. Are you talking about that Indian reservation that is on that TV show where there's like some weird supernatural stuff going on?
Where?
It's in Arizona. It's right behind a huge mesa. And there's like some supernatural. Well, that's why I'm asking. Because there's a mesa and a reservation. So I'm trying to put.
This is a question for my wife, probably. She watches all those shows.
Yeah, mine does too. And she got me hooked onto it. I hate when that happens. It's like I have my own shows, and then all of a sudden I'm walking by the TV and something catches my eye that she's watching. I plop my ass down and I start watching and get sucked in.
Yeah. There's stuff I just don't. I'm like, I'll be in the garage. I'm going.
That's why I need a garage.
Yeah, I'll go spray the weeds. I'll go brush the pool. I got jobs to do.
Yeah, you're like one of those battered husbands that just at the end of the day goes in the fetal position in the shower and just cries it out.
Do you have a camera in my shower?
Hey, so how's the recovery going with everything on the health side?
So, well, there's really no recovery because I'm actively with cancer.
Oh, you are still?
Yeah. So, what I'm doing is a research program, and the research program is taking my blood, my plasma, there's white blood cells and plasma. They pull it out of me. So basically, it's kind of like a dialysis machine. Needle in one arm, needle in the other. Pull out of one, push back in the other. They filter through, get your white blood cells out and your plasma out. You sit like that and you can't move in this chair for about 4 hours. They get all that done. They send it back to the company. Dendron is the company that I'm in, and so the Dendron study is what I'm going through. And they essentially add proteins and other things inside of your blood, and then they put it back into you. And your body is supposed to then be militarized and basically kind of take care of the cancer for the most part. And I don't believe their idea is that it eliminates the cancer, is that it keeps it at a low profile and it keeps it retained. So I do testing every 6 months. We do a biopsy every year, and I just finished a biopsy in December, and then blood work about 3 weeks ago. And then I had an MRI of the prostate, and the cancer is basically smaller than when I started. My numbers are going down, and everything seems to be fine right now. So I'm on track with what they think the protocol is for this procedure, and it's not the alternative, which is either you get the prostate taken out, which has side effects, or you do chemo or sort of radiation treatment, and then you get sick from that. This is basically no sickness. They had 3 rounds of this blood sucking and blood put back in, and that was all I've had to do. I am considering myself super lucky that I got to do this, but the research that we're doing is going to make it so that when hopefully my friends who are a little younger and this passes have the third option as opposed to the other 2 that are really invasive.
Yeah, this sounds like it's. I mean, I'm looking at you right now, and I don't see any ill effects in your appearance at all. And whereas chemo, as we know, it takes a toll on people.
Yeah, no, I had nothing, no adverse health effects. The worst I got was when they you're tired after they suck the blood out. You're just tired because of what you're doing. And it's just like, I just come up a nap and like 2 hours after that and I'm good. That's it. And then when they put it back, they give you Benadryl in an IV. If you ever have Benadryl in an IV and you react to it like I do, they put me in the IV and I'm just out and I'm groggy for most of the day. They gotta wheelchair me back out. I can kind of walk and I'm all hobbly, and then I come home and hobble to bed and I'm out for most of the day. But that was the worst of what I got. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think I would be too.
So yeah, and it was great. After the treatment, I started getting on a healthy diet. I was losing weight. I was down like 22 pounds. It was like, okay, I'm like halfway to my goal. And then I had foot surgery and COVID and gained it all back. So I got to start again. Because I was getting really healthy and trying to concentrate on that. And I just haven't got back after the foot surgery, but need to get back on that.
See, I didn't have foot surgery. I just had a desire to eat more food.
Well, I had that too, so it's all right.
Yeah. And then when I moved to Middle Tennessee, I'm pretty sure I gained like 30 pounds since I've been here.
Well, all that food you got to try.
It's amazing. I mean, it's like, so every week we're trying somewhere different because, I mean, literally you can throw a rock in any direction and you'll find a, good food place.
Yeah.
And Matt Loxley is a big foodie, and he knows where all the really good restaurants are in Nashville. So we've been going out with him and his wife and my wife to some of these restaurants, and I mean, it's expensive as fuck, but the food is really good. It's like 4-star, 5-star type stuff. And I'm not shy about it.
And I don't know. You got to do it. We did the same thing. We went to Arizona. We were out like adventuring out. Okay, oh, look at this food. Oh, we're gonna eat this. But I mean, nothing on the level that I'm gonna see in Nashville. Just the trips that I get to Nashville and the food that we eat. It's just like, oh, geez, I'm gonna eat more of this all the time. Mm-hmm. I come home and I'm trying to duplicate recipes and stuff that we've had it out there, and it's ridiculous how good the food is. And yeah, I don't think I can move there. I'd be like 600 pounds.
I need to lose weight because, I mean, wheeling season is upon us. And with all the hiking and running that I do, I can't do it with this much weight on me. I'm going to hurt myself. Yeah.
So are you in Murfreesboro?
Yep. I'm in Murfreesboro.
Okay.
Andrew Bailey is literally 3 minutes from me, a 3-minute drive.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you're close up there. You're close to Chambliss Shop.
Yeah, I am I was just there. It was maybe 7 minutes, 10 minutes at the most.
Yeah. You're right in the heart of all that. So you're a little out of Nashville, but still you get that Nashville food and all of that translates out there into those little suburbs, and it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it out here. It's just been awesome. I mean, I've already said enough about the food, but even the people that we've met, it's a different vibe. Everyone's just, it's a chill type vibe. Everyone's very cordial and nice. I've been called sir a handful of times, and it throws me off still to this day. I've never been called sir.
Yeah, it's that shift from California to Colorado. You didn't really see that too much.
Mm-hmm.
And then from Colorado there, you're going to see it. We got a lot here because we moved out to the middle of nowhere in Arizona. If I would have moved to Phoenix or Scottsdale, probably wouldn't see it. I still don't like going to Scottsdale because it's just kind of snooty. It's kind of like back to LA, and I don't really care for that. But I love going to the South and to Nashville and just the difference in how people act and their idea of what life is and how they treat you is so much better.
Yeah. I mean, even just, so this is a stupid example, but even just selling things on Facebook. I put my old car on Facebook 2 days ago. And it's sold in like less than 24 hours. And the guy's like, yeah, I'll drive. I'm coming up from Georgia. As long as you tell me that it's still there, I'll drive up right now and get it. I was like, with cash? He's like, yep, I got cash right here. I was like, okay, I'll see you in 4 hours.
Yeah. And it's weird with those smaller states. It's like, yeah, we'll just go across over here.
Yeah.
And okay, I guess so.
Well, yeah, I'm an hour and a half from Alabama, Georgia, an hour from Kentucky. So, I mean, to me, it's really cool because I've never lived in a state or a city at all that has been this close to other areas.
Central everything, so you can get to other places. Yeah, you grew up in Southern California and you're like, oh, we're going to San Francisco. Oh, it's a 12-hour trip to freaking San Francisco. Mm-hmm. You want to go to the top of California? Oh, it's a day and a half. You get there tomorrow or something. Just growing up in that larger state and coming to a smaller state is actually pretty cool. You can actually do all that. Yeah. When I travel back there, it's like, okay, I'm in this state. Oh, wait. I just crossed into a different state. What happened here?
Yeah. In California, your options are Mexico or Las Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you get.
Yeah. And you cross into the border and all of a sudden you got this little kid trying to sell you 2 boxes of chiclets. Chicle. Or those porcelain Mickey Mouse piggy banks.
There you go. Yeah,
that look like a nightmare.
Or the glow in the dark Elvis velvet.
Yeah, or the blankets.
No, the blanket. Yeah,
I gotta buy a blanket.
I got too many of those.
Yeah, those blankets are chronic. So everyone keeps asking me about Jeep Beach, if I'm going to Jeep Beach, and the answer is a big fat no. It's one of those events that I know it's nothing but a party, And as someone that has stopped drinking, it's hard for me to be around drinking, a lot of drinking. So it's not because I feel like I'll fall off the wagon. It's because for whatever reason, I started feeling a lot, very uncomfortable around heavy drinking. And so that's one reason why I won't go to Jeep Beach. The other reason is I want to go somewhere that's a Jeep event that is actually a Jeep event.
A Jeep event, yeah. And it's different. I mean, I wouldn't say it's all about the heavy drinking. There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun stuff that happens. But yeah, it's not just crazy heavy drinking. You'd go and you'd have a ton of fun. We do the Shade Brigade. We do the party on the beach during the week, which is fun. So all of the Shade Brigade partners, Spiderweb Shade, CMM, Raceline, BFG, Artec, Rock Crawler, S-Pod, and I know I'm going to forget a few others, but basically iDrive and a few others. We're part of the Shade Brigade party out there. We do that during the week on the beach. Then we go set up at the Speedway, and then Friday night we have our big tiki party this year out at the Hard Rock. And that's a big fundraiser for some of the local charities out there that Jeep Beach actually contributes to. There's a big raffle and stuff like that. So that one's a lot of fun. A little drinking there, but nothing too bad. But yeah, definitely it's a party. You got to go out the Thursday night when we do the slingshot and the fun on Main Street. It's
always fun to see. Yeah, it's always fun to see those videos from that slingshot thing.
Yeah. You get me and Clanton on that slingshot, and you're like, okay, this exceeds the capacity of this cart. So we shoot up a lot higher, and we come down a lot lower, and everyone just has a good time watching and laughing.
Oh God, it does look like fun.
It's like I said, it's one of those things you got to go to do it. It's definitely not your typical Jeep event. It's not wheeling at EJS. There's no real wheeling. You basically pull your Jeep out of the parking lot. You park it on the beach. You hang out there all day and talk to customers and have a good time and do some crazy beach games with Chris and the Spiderweb Shade guys. And then go have dinner and kind of hang out, and then you prep your show and go do show stuff. But definitely not a wheeling event at all.
So speaking of wheeling events, that you will be at is the Onyx this year.
Yes, we will be at Onyx.
And are you ready for that one?
No, not even close. I'm excited about it, but no, Jeep's got a lot of work to be done. So. What I'm working on right now is getting the suspension all redone. I may or may not have blew the motor up with driving without oil. We'll find out when they replace parts and put it back on. But kind of the idea is my JL should be getting a Bruiser LS3 conversion here pretty soon.
Nice. Actually, I should say must be nice.
Well, it's one of those things. It has to happen.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm struggling with what I'm going to do with my Jeep, because with this 1-ton swap and then eventually a cage, it's going to just be a heavy son of a bitch. And that 3.8 is either going to just quit on its own, or I'm going to hate life enough to yank it myself and try to do something else with it.
Yeah, there's good options for you, especially at that point. I mean, you're not going to daily drive it. You're not going to try to drive it across the country. You got a new tow rig. Hopefully you got the extended coverage insurance on that thing, because you may need it.
Just because it's a Ford?
Just because it's a Ford. I got to get that Ford jab where I can.
And you know what's funny is I actually did get the extended lifetime warranty on it.
There you go. There you're covered.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I was like, make sure it covers the transmission, the motor, the drive shafts,
rental vehicle, and towing.
Yeah, and a free hat.
And a free hat and shoes.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's one of those things where my jail's always driven. The red one, I drove everywhere, back and forth across the country a couple times, up and down the coast. It wheeled Johnson Valley. It wheeled Moab a few times. It went out and did a few different events here in Arizona and stuff like that. So it did its job. The gray one's now taking over. It's been across the country to Will in Missouri, at Crawl America, at Moab. Hasn't been to Johnson Valley yet, and it's been all through Arizona now. But this one I'm going to keep a little longer than the red one, just because we're getting to the point now where the jail's 4 years into model year almost. So there's a lot more mods happening. So I did my axle swap. We'll do a motor swap. I'll get a cage in there, and then I'll probably go to a little bigger tire, and it'll end up being trailered everywhere. So we're working on that side of it right now, is just keeping it as more of like the iconic vehicle of Artec, kind of like the Articon is.
So what's going on with Articon?
So Articon should be going to the V8 swap shop here pretty soon too.
Really? Have you taken care of any of that squeaking?
No. We like the squeaking. Will loves that.
Oh God, that's how I know Will's behind me.
See, it's how we know when he leaves a trail. We can always hear him. So we're working on version 3.0 for the Articon. So version 1 was when we first started. It was just factory axles, and we did version 2.0. We're in the swap kit. So right now we're looking at going to possibly Fab 9 axles on it, but I'm going to push more towards Super Duty swaps on it with the V8 and cage, and we're just going to make these more iconic wheelers, and they're going to go everywhere and just do everything. I don't want to have limitations anymore. I want these guys to go out there and play, and if we drop one on its side, we drop one on its side.
There you go. So I mentioned the Onyx earlier, and you're also doing American crawlers with us this year too, right?
Yes. Yep.
So that one, I think you're going to have a blast on, just because the trails that we'll be doing are super iconic for the scenery. Holy Cross is one of those that is just, it's not difficult, although there's 2 sections that have gotten rutted out over the years, and they can be difficult depending on the conditions. But once you get to Holy Cross City, it's old cabin that's just in the middle of a valley. And then to the left of it is Cleveland Rock, this big ass obstacle. So it's pretty cool. I think you're gonna like it.
Yeah, I think we're planning on my jail and the Red Gladiator coming out for that. And then the Onyx, I believe we're bringing in the Articon, and my jail will be out there for that.
Okay, nice.
Or maybe backwards. I don't recall. I got to look at the spreadsheet.
So then Will's going to come for that one, for the Onyx also?
I believe so. We're gonna try to bring both.
Oh boy, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. These small type events like these, like Crawl America, where you have a smaller group and you're out wheeling, is kind of something that really peaked last year, and I enjoy doing them. It's not that I don't like the big shows like Jeep Beach or EJS, but you're getting to know people, and that's kind of where Artec excels, is that we have people that want to be in front of people, want to go out and wheel with people. We want to be there. We don't just want to be this giant company that has this facade and we're behind the wall going, yeah, you can't come and see us. We want to be out there. We want to wheel with people. We want to have fun. We want to meet and know people and have friends that are lifelong, that understand what we're doing is for them. And that's the great thing about these events. They're just really exciting about that.
And I think a lot of, I don't want to say vendors, but just companies in general are starting to do the same thing that you are. BF Goodrich is one of those examples. Tim Cromer and Jonathan, they go out and to these events and they wheel with everyone just like they're a normal guy. And I mean, truthfully, they really are just a normal guy.
Yeah, well, so guys.
Yeah, but they're out there just to talk to everyone, get feedback on their product, and have a good time. And I think more of that should happen because there's been a disconnect for a while, and now I think there's a connection starting again.
Yeah, we want to be part of. We're going to part of that every time it comes around. It's one of those things where we're just guys with jobs. We're not anything different, but just guys. We like to go out and we have fun. We joke. I mean, you've seen us. If anyone who watches your videos or podcasts have seen the whole group of all these industry guys, and we're clowns. We're just guys like you guys, and we just happen to have a job that is a little different than yours. And I didn't always have this job, and I love this job. So I get up this morning every morning wanting to work, and that's unusual considering what I used to do, and I hated every day of it.
Eventually, I'll be like you. I'm not in a huge hurry to get into the off-road industry full time, just because the job that I have, I like it, and I like the 401k that they offer.
Yeah, and there's a lot of perks that I don't get from being outside and being in a job like that, but there's a lot of perks I get to have, and I just usually weigh it. And I left out of an industry where I made a crap ton of money and took a giant pay. Here's my beautiful wife. Come on in, come say hi.
Who's that?
It's Gabe. Come over here.
Hello.
Hi.
That's my wife, Kim.
My alumnus.
Alumnus. Gabe's the one that went to Pioneer.
Okay.
We were talking about the Pioneers.
What year did you graduate?
96.
It was 96.
Oh, so you did go. Yeah, that's funny. Oh my gosh. I look at my yearbook, but the dog ate it.
Why you gotta always bring up old crap, woman? You haven't had that dog in a long time. That dog chewed that up like 20 years ago.
I'm pretty sure she knew some of my friends that I grew up with.
Probably, yeah. She was right there. She lived down Miller Grove, just right across the street. It's like she could throw a rock at school.
She lived on Miller Grove?
Yeah.
I lived behind Miller Grove.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I wonder if she lived. So have you been to that house?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it the one with the two palm trees that make the X?
No. It just went down. Which, Kim?
Yeah, no, it was up where the railroad tracks were on Rivera Road. Like
on the other side, by the potato chip factory.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, by the
chip factory.
I can still smell it.
Yeah. They used to wake up smelling potato chips all the time. It was awesome.
What, 20 feet from the train tracks?
Yeah, it was right down that side where the train tracks were.
Yeah, I had friends, the Ortiz family that lived on Miller Grove, right by there.
Yeah, they live
right next to her grandparents.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is crazy. Yeah. What?
Did they still live there?
I don't know. The guy that I knew, his name was Richard Ortiz. He was a gangbanger, so I'm not sure where he's at now.
Yeah. You're talking about.
She knows. She knows.
I know.
She knows who he is. Yeah.
Yeah, he used to be in Golden Gloves. We were in Golden Gloves together.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's funny. Her grandfather was a boxer. He was Golden Gloves back in the day, and he just passed last year. He was 86 when he passed. But what's funny is that their house recently just burnt down, the old house in there. That's why I asked if they were still there, because that's the house that burned down.
Wow.
Yeah, great grandparents' house just burned down.
Holy cow! Yeah. That whole neighborhood, it was weird. From Miller Grove to Pioneer, and then on the other side of Norwalk Boulevard, there were so many guys that were in Golden Gloves at that same time in that area. I don't know what happened to any of them, but it was just really odd. You'd find most of the kids at that time were in the same little league, but not in Golden Gloves.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. It's just one of those things where the time and people get out there, and that's what they want to do.
Yep. So I'd heard that high school has someone donated a ton of money to Pioneer High School, and the football field's completely redeveloped.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, and I remember
friends that grew up there that still live there. Yeah, we just recorded. Yeah, we're recording.
I'll ask him if he remembers Mr. Gonzalez, the math teacher.
Oh, Tony Gonzalez.
No, Javier Gonzalez.
I vaguely remember him.
Oh, he moved to Arizona, and we just my friend came to visit, and we went and visited him and his wife. So that was like a flashback.
Holy cow!
He had I think his brother worked there too. His brother, I forget, they were in the math department. His math teacher.
Yeah, I think they were baseball coaches also.
They might have been, yeah.
Small world.
Yeah. When I was in Egypt at EJS, her friend flew in from California. They went out and spent the night. I got a buddy of mine, Moose, who's the general manager at the Hotel Valley Ho, hooked them up with a room, and they went and hang out. We had dinner, and then on the way back, they went and met with one of their old teachers, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
So,
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that it's the small world that it is. People just end up out here, but it's one of those things.
Yeah, I hear the street in Miller Grove, and that just brings back so many memories. I got jumped on Miller Grove by the gangs, from Los Nietos, that gang right there, a few times.
What middle school did you go to?
So I went to I was supposed to go to Los Nietos Middle School, and then the spring that I was supposed to go there, I got in a fight on that campus, and they said I couldn't go there, so I had to go outside of the district.
Oh, that's funny.
That's funny.
All these damn thugs.
That's funny.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. I know you got stuff to do. Probably have some dinner. Yeah. Actually, my mom, my sister, and my niece and nephew are here from California, and you can hear the ruckus out there. Kim got home, brought them the kids some McDonald's, and we're having brisket and slaw for dinner. So we're going to head out and have dinner. Thank you for having me. It was great to chat with you, and we'll talk offline, and we'll get you out to Mob Moab. Yeah, I'll be there. Thanks for. We'll find a place on the couch for you to sack. That's all I need. We got that. And a toilet. We got one of those too. All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. All right, brother. Thank you. Take it easy. Talk to you. Bye. All right, take it easy. And that's a wrap for this episode of CrawlCast. Thanks for listening.